hello, and I hope this finds you well. Don't you hate when emails start with that? Anyway, I'm gonna do, in my opinion, what are the best brushes to apply complexion with. I have two different types of complexion product with me: a fuller coverage foundation from UNCUT and a concealer that's not out yet with a purple cap. That's all I'm gonna say. I am going to, it might actually be out by the time this video goes live. First and foremost, I'm going to show you a few brushes. This is my KJH Spectrum number 8. This is a very loose, bristled brush that will blend things very softly. I've got this spot that I just tried to attack on my chin and I did not succeed. So let's just go around it, not directly on it. I'm going to use this soft brush from Spectrum and just lightly tap complexion product on it until it disappears. And sadly, you can see texture as well. You can't really do much about that. You can highlight under it to reduce the shadow, but that's a whole lot of work and it's not really worth it, I don't think. Anyway, that is how I would apply concealer with a brush like this. So you're just gonna apply a little to here, anywhere you want, and then this small brush, number 8 from KJH and Spectrum, is going to allow for you to smooth it into place all the while spreading it further. So I call this stretching a product. I'm stretching the product further to be able to basically make it go further than the place in which I applied it, okay? And the reason why I like a small brush for that is because it helps me control, it helps me stay into a smaller range. If I was to take a big giant brush, it would thin it out much quicker, which is sometimes helpful, but it would take it into a bigger range, therefore limiting my control of where it goes. So this concealer's a tad yellow for me, but it's fine because I'm shearing it through. If something isn't the complete perfect match, if you wear it sheer, it will be better of a match. If you wear it full coverage, it won't. So that's why typically full coverage complexions need to come in, full coverage complexion product need to come in like 50 to 60 shades, is because it's going to be opaque if something has a sheer quality to it, or if you have a lot of juiciness and glowiness on your skin, it's going to sheer it down anyway. So there's a lot of nuances to all facets of makeup. There's a pretzel in my tooth. Hopefully I help to dissect those and make them understandable. Now with the Lancome Teinte Idole in the shade 225N, I'm just going to take one pump. Now I could use this with this, and I actually would, but the typical brush that I would use with a product like this is this number 7 IT Cosmetics brush, and I would actually prime the brush and saturate the brush with the product. Therefore then this brush is now completely filled with that foundation, and you can see that it's a little bit lighter than the one that I've got on. I would typically start in areas where I want to sort of brighten and then move it through to the T-zone of the face. I use concealers in spot areas and then I spread them thin. Foundations, I typically, if I'm going to go for a foundation, I'll wear it over the whole surface of the face. Again, because I'm dewy and a little bit primed with like shine and textures, like in the shiny category from highlighters and things like that, and my moisturizers and my skin cares, it's going to sheer it down. So it's not as opaque as what it would be if I hadn't put anything on my skin. And that's actually a way that I always say that I think is a good way to check if a product is going to be good for your complexion, for your skin type, sorry, is that if you apply it with no skincare under it, you will see what that product is going to do throughout the day, and therefore you'll know what kind of skin prep to do under it after you see, like if something's matte coverage, you put it on dry, bare, naked skin, and then throughout the day you get really oily, you probably don't need that much moisturizer under there. Throughout the day, if you get really, really dry, you need a lot of moisturizer under there. Make sense? So again, priming the brush, and I can build the coverage if I want to. And now I have a fuller coverage look. I typically don't like to put complexion, you see the way it looks brighter up here? It's because I'm more tan up here. I typically don't like to put complexion all the way up to the forehead, all the way up into the hairline on all sides of my face, because I feel like it starts to look quite mask-like, and then you start to have to build those colors back in with blushes and bronzers, which is fine, that's what they're there for. However, we can make it easier on ourselves by just covering the areas that you want to cover if you feel like you want the coverage from breakouts. If you don't, then you don't have to, of course. There's nothing wrong with having a breakout on your face. It's normal and it's human. And I think that's all I really have to say. So I think that generally those are the two complexion brushes that I think are really like must-haves. The number 8 from KJH, the number 7 from IT Cosmetics. We are actually considering doing a shape extension for my Spectrum collab. This one is one that I'm very, very excited about. I think I've had powder in this, and I love it for complexion, for creams. I love it for powders. It's just a perfect little brush to sort of tap into the sides of the nose and get under the eyes. It's dense enough. It's not too dense, but it's perfectly dense. So this one's definitely going to make the cut if we extend the options or whatever. Anyway, that's it. I hope you have, I hope that helped you with some of your sort of complexion questions in the sense of brushes. This was very much brush targeted for complexion. One thing that I do want to add, I don't mind how this looks, but I do feel like it looks a little heavier in some areas. So I'm just going to take my fingertips and just pull away any excess gently. And I think this is a really good way to stop things from creasing. So especially here under the nose, the sides of the nose, just lift any excess away. Any little fine lines on your head, forehead, just pull those away, eyelids, and just sort of erase anything that's got the opportunity to crease, because you probably don't need it there in the first place. I feel like we don't typically break out super much in the areas where I'm playing. It's normally like here and sometimes like, you know, in the forehead, but obviously everybody's skin's totally different. So this might not work for everybody, but it's just a tip. And then always just double check that you don't have tide marks. I don't know where that saying came from. I feel like my mum used to say it when I was a kid. I don't really know what it means, but like complexion lines of difference of colour. That said, you should never... I'm going to add one more point. Shade matching to the jaw is great. However, if you intend to wear that product that you're shade matching to the jaw up here, it is not so great. So shade match to the area that you intend to wear the product. If you intend to wear the product in the T-zone, put it in the T-zone. If you intend to wear the product in the forehead, put the product on the forehead. Period. Do not test something on the back of your hand intending to use it on your face, because it is not the same colour. Thank you and good night. Bye bye.